Now I would like to invite Alfred de Zayas, the former UN Special Rapporteur and independent expert on the promotion of a democratic and equitable international order.
My name is Alfred de Zayas, and I was for the promotion of a democratic and equitable international order. I served the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights and the Human Rights Council from 2012 to 2018. And I had, in my official capacity as rapporteur, the opportunity of meeting many representatives of the Comité Ashraf, and I had the opportunity of speaking in numerous side events held at the Human Rights Council and speaking before the victims, before the Ashrafis in Ashraf 3. I attended a conference last summer, that was in July last summer, in Tirana, and had the pleasure of personally interviewing the victims. So I'm particularly touched by the suffering of so many tens of thousands of Iranians whose revolution against the Shah was stolen, and who have suffered a theocratic government ever since, first under Khomeini and now, of course, under Khamenei, etc. Now, when I was in Camp Ashraf 3 in Tirana, I visited this absolutely most disturbing, sad, tragic compilation. This museum, this is a documentation of the 120 years of struggle for freedom of the Iranian people. This exhibition guide with the names of the 30,000 murdered in the summer of 1988. Here I have this book also, which I received from the Ashrafis. These are important documentations. This book, The Inquiry into the 1988 Mass Executions in Iran by my friend Tahar Boumedra. I mean, this is an incredibly important documentation. You even have here in this book, in facsimile form, the fatwa. So proof, incontrovertible proof of the deliberateness of the extermination of the Mujahideen opposition to the government. My colleagues, rapporteurs, also the rapporteurs on Iran, have been calling for a commission of inquiry, an independent commission of inquiry. That has been in my own recommendations, that has been in the recommendations of several United Nations rapporteurs, and most recently, last summer, in August of 2019, we had for the 42nd session of the Human Rights Council, we had this document. This is document AHRC 42 NGO 128, which describes the human rights situation in Iran and states quite correctly the United Nations must act against the perpetrators of the 1988 massacre in the Islamic Republic of Iran. There's reference here to the documentation of Amnesty International. There is reference to the problem of the destruction of the evidence. There's here the UN Special Rapporteur's position on the 1988 massacre, in particular, because there were several rapporteurs who pronounced themselves on the issue. My good friend Asma Jahangir, who unfortunately died untimely, without finishing her mandate as a rapporteur on Iran. Obviously, there is documentation on all of these crimes, but there is not yet, as of this moment, an international commission of jurists in charge of this investigation, and that should end. Allow me to mention another problem that concerns you as it concerns me as a human being: COVID-19. I don't think that the regime in Iran has acted properly to defend the right to health of the Iranian people. Having said that, I think that it is important for the United Nations to call for the liberation of all political prisoners, in particular political prisoners who are at a higher risk because they are imprisoned. And the United Nations should also offer, obviously, all possibility of advisory services and technical assistance in order to help alleviate the suffering of the Iranian people in the context of COVID-19. There's a matter of international solidarity to help the people of Iran who are particularly touched, particularly made to suffer under this scourge of COVID-19. As has been said before by others, including myself, it's important to end impunity. We have, for this reason, established the International Criminal Court in The Hague. We want to ensure that in Iran and in other countries, there be no more impunity for all sorts of criminality, gross violations of human rights. Another concern of mine is that the number of political prisoners, the detainees, sometimes you call them political prisoners, sometimes you call them detainees, in Iran has increased. And also Iran has a very, very high incidence of the imposition of the death penalty. Personally, I am against capital punishment, and I do not believe that capital punishment is a form of deterrence of crime. It is more terrorism. I find that capital punishment, as it is implemented in many countries, does not protect the population from the criminality, but actually adds to the criminality. So all of these things, here again, my call to the United Nations, my call to my colleagues, rapporteurs and independent experts of the organization to insist on the liberation of political prisoners in Iran, and to insist on prompt action to protect the right to health of the Iranian people. With this, I mean, I wish you God bless. I wish you the protection of the Almighty, and I remain in solidarity with you. I will speak at the council whenever you wish to give me the honor to speak again on this subject, and I thank you.